All right. Good evening, everybody. It is Steve with Real Progressives. Tonight, socialism. The only problem with it is that eventually you run out of other people's money. You heard that before, haven't you? Most of the right-wingers that try to debunk social programs and debunk the ideas that go along with any form of social contracts with the government, with their state, with their country, any kind of programs, any kind of services. Nitwitted, low-life people try to call it socialism, not knowing full well what even socialism is. And sadly, this is the situation that we find ourselves in today, where we are stuck in a situation where our media and everybody else has made it the boogeyman. Not only the question that we always talk about, which is how are you going to pay for it, but also the other one of the big S, socialism. So within the last, 24, 48 hours, Alex Jones didn't miss a beat, jumped on, found a picture of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez that made her look just really very unflattering. It's an extremely unflattering picture. And inside this meme, talked about Venezuela, okay? Talked about socialism. Talked about how she's the big enemy of the country. And, and then, of course, we get the tired people, the people that don't know any better, coming to Real Progressives saying, the only problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money. They think they're being very smart and witty, like they've never heard that before. Like somehow or another, this very, very witty statement is going to carry the day. Now, here's why this problem is a real problem for all of us. Now, for 30 plus years, modern monetary theory folks have been running around trying to explain that a government that creates its own currency doesn't require an income, doesn't require money to pay for programs, okay? Because it creates it every time it spends. Somehow or another, this message never quite makes it out to the mainstream. It never makes it out to regular people. And so invariably, when someone like an Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez gets an opportunity to present a robust, progressive agenda, the big S word comes out, and it's a deal breaker, man. A lot of people really flip out. And I'm not just talking about right-wingers. I'm talking about some really, really bad center people. I'm talking about even some progressives that don't understand it either. So you're not dealing with reality. Reality has no place in this. It is all perception. And perception is reality for many of these folks. So how do we overcome the fact that we've been saying we want to get rid of student debt? How do we get over the idea that we've been telling everyone we want healthcare as a right? How do we go ahead and work through this when we say that we want green energy? How do we work through it when we tell folks that we want a robust infrastructure bill? The first question out of CNN's mouth, the first question out of the Washington Post's mouth, the first question out of the Guardian, the first question out of every one of these publications: how is she going to pay for her plans? How is she going to pay for her programs? The very first question. Now, how many people, when we've explained this to them, have sat there and pushed back on us? They didn't have any idea, no idea, how to pay for a progressive agenda. But they wanted a progressive agenda, but they couldn't pay for it. They didn't know how. The progressive community didn't know how to defend its own people. I am bitter about that. We have spent years putting this information out there. Years. And here we got a candidate that is actually telling you, raising their hand, saying, I'm going to go for all these things, a job guarantee. And progressives don't know how to defend her. Oh, no, we're just going to yell at them. We'll just yell at them and call them bad, 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 instead of knowing how to defend this. You cannot have a progressive agenda without a progressive community that actually knows how to fight for a damn progressive agenda. It's shameful. It's shameful. And the morons that don't understand Venezuela, don't understand what it's like to have a single export, environment where they simply are living and dying on oil. They have an underdeveloped economy. They've got a situation where they've pegged their currency to a foreign currency in the dollar. They've been able to be manipulated and treated like shit, and they bring this crap up. It is a sign of a garden gnome mindset, lesser evil. And I'm sick to death of our own community not knowing how to defend it. How is it possible that our own community does not know how to defend someone fighting for the very platform we claim we want? How is it possible? How is it possible? I am furious. I am beyond disgusted that our community ignored the MMT community when we tried to explain it so they could get ready for a progressive agenda. But these dimwits are out there talking about petrodollars. It's shameful. You know, there's this line by Alec Baldwin in the movie Glengarry Glen Ross. He goes, "I'd wish you good luck, but you wouldn't know what to do with it. Put that coffee down." Coffee's for closers. And you know what? The progressive community has proven time and again that it is not a closer. It is not a closer. It is a bunch of scattered people refusing to learn, refusing to listen, refusing to fight for the very principles it claims that it wants to fight for. How is it possible that an entire community would not understand that the nation that creates its own currency cannot go broke? How is it possible that a nation that has MMT at its disposal, a full explanation of how federal finance works, how is it possible that we could have such a freaking great opportunity to elevate the very progressive ideals we've been saying we want, but yet people don't know how to defend the candidate? I'm not joking. You've got the fist in the air selfie takers that are up there in all the hot spots drinking their quad venti white mochas and hanging out with lipstick friggin' revolutionaries that are literally not willing to learn the basics of economics to defend a candidate that is already being put under the gun. Now, I don't even care whether she's a good or bad candidate. This is not about her. I'm fighting for that damn platform. Do you understand? I've been fighting for that platform since day one. And I'll be damned if people that are going to short circuit the process are going to screw it up for my children. I will be damned if somebody that refuses to learn this stuff is going to be the reason why we fail. It is up to us as a community. It is up to us as a progressive army, as people that really want to see change. It is up to us to get angry and to go out and take care of business. And that requires a mental revolution. That requires thinking, requires learning, and it requires saying things in a different way. The opportunity to win is there. We have been building momentum and building and building and building. But there are many among us, that are still parroting right-wing economic talking points that literally cut the legs out from under a candidate like Alexandria, who's out there putting her ass on the line. And we can't defend her. Hell no. Hell to the no. I am freaking furious. You know, I've talked about this before, but I'm going to say it again. Every one of these media outlets, the alternative media outlets, our friends, ignored the economics. And now we got a candidate up there and there's sheep that follow them. Yes, the sheep that follow them. that don't dig past the surface, that just take it verboten, just whatever they say. They have failed us miserably. They have failed us miserably. It is shameful that people have ignored how finance works to support this. It is shameful. Now, what happens when the next candidate runs? Do you think that they're going to be as willing to put their neck on the line? Yes, she won. But she's got trouble coming from CNN saying, have the Democrats moved too far to the left? What a joke. And then we got the shit stains on the other side going, she's a sheepdog. And then on top of that, we got the right wing sitting there calling her a friggin' bloody enemy of the nation, communist, socialist. The only problem is we run out of other people's money. Folks, when Congress spends its first dollar, it didn't get it from a tax. No human being on the planet had a dollar until Congress spent a dollar. Do you understand? A dollar is a law. A single $1 bill is a law. The U.S. dollar is a unit of account. It is the unit of account for the United States government. That's it. The United States government has a unit of account, just like the United Kingdom has a unit of account in the pound sterling, just like the Japanese government has a unit of account, the yen, just like Australia has a unit of account in the Australian dollar, just like Canada has a unit of account in the Canadian dollar. So explain to me why it is that we are still sitting there tripping out that the United States can go broke. Help me understand this. Help me understand why that is. I can't explain it. I cannot explain it at all. I cannot explain it. Maybe you can. Maybe you're able to explain why. But every time we've tried to lay it out there, people have called MMT a cult. Now they're left by themselves, struggling, wondering, how are we going to support a candidate? We don't know. We're just going to yell at them bad, bad, bad again, right? I'm telling you right now, I expect the right wing to do this stuff. I do. I expect the right wing to do it. But I had hoped that progressives would care enough about humanity, care enough about their own platform, that they would take the time to learn so that they could win. I hope it's not too late. Tax breaks mean nothing in this case. Do you understand? Taxes are deleted upon receipt. It doesn't matter about you. Got to focus on getting the people what they need. Unfortunately, we can't make people who have heard this story 1,000 times get it through their head. They refuse to understand. Literally refuse it. Too late. Tax breaks me. Why would we refuse to learn this stuff, folks? Seriously. Chomsky is not an economist. Chomsky is not an economist. Did I say this? Let me say it again. Chomsky is not an economist. Wait, hold on. Chomsky's not an economist. I don't look to Robert Reich for economic advice either, because he's not an economist. And I definitely don't look to Noam Chomsky as my guiding principle for economics. I look to Stephanie Kelton. I look to Warren Mosler. I look to Pavlina Cherneva. I look to Randall Wray. I look to Bill Mitchell. I look to Fidel Kaboub and Ellis Winningham. But I do not look to Noam Chomsky and Robert Reich or Paul Krugman for any reason at all when it comes to economics. Don't confuse politics with economics. We have a situation where a lot of candidates that knew they would not win this go around were still too afraid to run on a truly progressive agenda. Petrified. Petrified they'd be labeled a socialist. Petrified they would be labeled any number of things. Most of which is completely unnecessary, because if we had been doing our job, giving them air cover, they wouldn't have to worry about it. But proud progressives, fist in the air, ignored the lessons. They refused to learn. I'm not mad at Republicans for being Republicans. They are what they are. They're always going to be that. But progressives, don't tell me you want a robust agenda, but you don't know how to pay for it. And before you say raise taxes, taxes literally do not pay for anything at the federal level. Taxes are literally received to keep the dollar moving. They're deleted upon receipt. So how are you going to run out of other people's money when their money isn't what pays for these programs to begin with? How is the right wing's thing about socialism even remotely true? It's not. But yet, so few progressives took the time to learn that they'll sit there and fight back and forth with a right-wing nut job that tells you that you run out of other people's money. Instead of learning this stuff. And you know what? Here's the thing that's really irritating. Once you realize that taxes don't actually pay for these programs, you'd be surprised how many new teammates you have fighting for good quality programs. There are many people on the right, they don't know any better. But you tell them that the taxes don't actually pay, that they're not funding your bad choices or whatever. And watch how many of them say, well, I love my kids too. Yeah, I'm tired of paying these crazy premiums through this Unaffordable Care Act. Give me some health care. But you got to teach them the economics. Otherwise, they think they're paying for you and your bad decisions. And because you refuse to do it, because you refuse to learn, we keep the ping pong game going forever. It's shameful. I'm not joking. It is shameful. Everything that I'm saying is 1,000% verifiable. This isn't a debate. There's no debate here. I'm telling you how it is. The UK can never go broke on debt denominated in its own currency. Japan, 250% debt to GDP, will never go broke on debt in its own currency. Canada will never go broke on debt in its own currency. Australia will never go broke on debt in its own currency. It's time for the people that run around in these other little groups that go hide off there and talk from tales from the fire pit instead of doing the homework. It's time for the beer crew that doesn't listen. Just, yeah, man, down with the system, dude. It's time for those folks to freaking step up and be part of this and be useful. I'm not joking. This is the only way. This is it. It's like, is water wet? Yes, water is wet. Is MMT right? It's 1,000% right. Not some right. Not, well, they get some, well, if someday we adopt it. It's in now. It is the way it is now. So this young warrior in New York City is sitting there putting her fist in the air and telling us she wants to go for a job guarantee. She wants to get rid of ICE. She wants free college, and she wants student debt elimination, green energy, you name it. Where are the warriors backing her up? Where are the other candidates that are copycats that are following suit? Where are the movement to elevate this? It's up to us. It's absolutely up to us. Stop waiting for some Messiah to come through. Do it. Do it. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop debating people that know more than you and just start learning. Stop pretending like you're standing toe-to-toe in some debate. You're not. MMT is unassailable. It's not there to debate. It's a description, purely a description. Hey, we watched the bits move from ledger A to ledger B. Oh no, this is a psyop. It's a psyop, it's a cult. Fucking morons. You want to see a real, honest-to-God change. You want to see it. It's going to come from we the people being smarter than we were yesterday. It's not going to be coming via some politician. But here we've got this strange moment at our fingertips right now. You know, I wish it, hey, where are the Greens doing this? I'm hoping Rodolfo Cortez and others do it. But I want to see people boldly doing this. There's a reason why this becomes a lightning rod. We got decades of indoctrination against quote unquote socialism. It's a shutdown argument. The minute they use the big S, everybody starts panicking. They don't even know what they're talking about, but they're panicking. All she's talking about is FDR, New Deal type stuff. We already know it works. We've seen it work before. So why in the world can't progressives defend this without it just being Republicans are idiots, you're a Trumpster, you're an idiot, you're this, you're that? Why can't progressives say, guys, chill out, man. When Congress writes a bill, the funds get authorized. They get appropriated. It's not about raising taxes. They certainly didn't raise your taxes to come up with $700 billion for the military. Why in the world do you think suddenly, why are you asking how she's going to pay for these programs now? Why didn't you ask it when they tried to raise the military? Why? And where were the progressives? Why weren't progressives ready for this? Why weren't they already saying, guys, you see how you didn't raise taxes for the military? Well, you don't have to raise taxes for these programs either. Why is it that progressives didn't know that? Why didn't they know that? The information is available. They felt like they were in a position to debate about it. To debate. Why would you elevate Milton Friedman's right-wing, ridiculous economic bullshit about what are you going to print more money? What is going to devalue the dollar? Oh, it'll cause inflation. What about hyperinflation? Zimbabwe, Weimar Republic, Venezuela. This is from progressives. I mean, see, don't you find that to be shameful? Pathetic? Undeserving? It sickens me to the core of my being that people haven't gotten more motivated to explain this stuff, seeing what it will take to advance what will be dubbed for sure socialism. It's going to be dubbed socialism if we say, hey, let's give everybody $5 off on their friggin', student loan. That's socialism. Hey, let's replace all the school buses. That's socialism. We have a sacred, freaking immensely important responsibility to be able to defend candidates that take it to the streets, that are bold and are taking a progressive agenda forward. I'm not joking. I'm checking my Rolodex and I'm looking through at the people that fought with me about MMT, called it a cult, said stupid things. I'm serious. I'm looking, I'm saying, I'm blaming you for this. I'm blaming that. I'm blaming for this. That's right. If our kids don't get this, I'm blaming you. Not the right wing. I'm blaming you. Why? Because damn it, progressives should be better than that. They should be better than that. And it's shameful when they aren't. We have a real opportunity between now and 2018's elections when they come up in November. And we also have 2020. Now, this isn't just about elections. Let's be real clear. This is about us changing the way society thinks about the relationship between money and government is. This is about changing the friggin' fireside myths and legends that the cool kids tell when they're reading their Alex Jones bullshit, and they're reading their global research CA garbage, and they're reading their Market Watch crapola, and all the other right-wing, fake, left-wing crap that's out there. This is about us learning the truth, teaching the truth, and activating on the truth. And right now, I don't think our movement is deserving of a candidate that will put it all out there like that. I don't think that our movement has proven it is earned the right to have a candidate that will do that, because it will not learn. It just thinks it's so cool. I'm serious. I fight with our own progressives more about economics than I do with right-wing idiots that sit there and call everything socialism. What is wrong? Why? Why is that? Until we fix that, we're in deep trouble. And we have a real opportunity up there in New York to show that we're not just a bunch of pushovers, to get the momentum going, to get every one of these candidates that's running to buy into a program, a platform just like hers. Now, if I had a bone to pick with her program, I'll tell you what it is. The one bone I have to pick is that she's piggybacking off of Bernie Sanders' Wall Street speculation tax. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with a Pigovian tax or a sin tax to curb behavior that is bad for the country. But when you say you go the extra yard and you say we're going to use a Wall Street speculation tax to pay for programs, you've crossed the line now. Because Pigovian taxes, while they certainly benefit everyone because they curb bad behavior or undesirable behavior, they don't actually pay for anything. They're deleted too, just like all federal taxes are deleted. When a dollar is born into existence, it's born by being spent by a congressional edict, by an appropriation. And when it's received as a tax, it isn't redistributed to somebody else. It's only redistributed, if you will, when Congress chooses to spend new money. But the dollar that was collected in taxes without a subsequent spending bill is deleted Deleted. There is no recycling of a government spent dollar. It is deleted. So how do you run out of other people's money when money is constantly created and destroyed? Every time it's spent, it's created. Every time it's taxed, it's destroyed at the federal level. How in the world are we expected to overcome the only problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money if people don't understand that the whole premise of that is wrong? The entire premise of that is wrong. And unless you understand MMT and you understand that taxes are deleted, you will be peddling the same myth that the right wing is using against us. Golf clap. Bravo. Now, if we hadn't been talking about this for years, if this was like my first live stream, we didn't have any experts that had come through here. We didn't publish a bunch of papers that people say, we're so bored about hearing about MMT. If we hadn't been doing this nonstop, I wouldn't be so pissed off right now. I'd be like, hey guys, there's this really neat idea. I just learned about it yesterday. Why don't we talk about MMT? But I haven't. 7 days a week, we've been at this for years and years and years. And people just did their own thing. Well, what about a resource-based economy? What about, tell me how that's helping Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Tell me how that's getting us a new deal. Oh, it's not. So why in the fuck are you talking about it? Why won't you learn about how it is now so we can fix the kids that are here today? So we can stop wars for oil today by getting green energy today. I care so much about wars. I'm so anti-war, but I won't hear anything about this MMT. It's a cult. I'm so against war. But, you know, if we're going to war for resources and oil and stuff like that, there's one sure way to stop that, and that's to get off oil, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So how do we do that? Well, we'll just tax the shit out of them. That's what we'll do. So we deleted a lot of money. Good for you. But that didn't get us green energy, did it? Because it needs a spending bill to go for it. Raising taxes just deletes a lot of money. Now what? Oh, you didn't know that? Yes, you did know that. You refused to learn it, though. You knew it because you were told. But you opted to ignore it. You opted to do your own thing. You opted to pretend like you knew better. But the reality is, we could have green energy now and stop these wars. In fact, we could have a federal job guarantee now, which is what she's pushing for, that would make it so that it is of no concern about the immigration situation. We would have time to do it humanely and figure out the right strategy for immigration. People wouldn't be competing with each other and hating each other because, oh my God, the Mexicans are going to steal my job. Everyone has a job if we want them to. But no, we care so much about immigration, but we won't learn the economics that'll fix it. Why? Too cool? Coolio cuckoo? Is that it? Is it like way too cool to learn? Cool what? This is the shit that will make you absolutely lose your mind after a little while. When you see it so clearly, you're like, God, we can fix this now. But instead, they just want to get a lot of signs out there. They want to march, but they don't want to march with knowledge. They just want to march and they want to say how bad it is, how mean it is, how wrong it is. But when you give them a solution, well, that's just a cult. That's just a cult. Next time you hear someone say the only problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money, you've been told. That's bullshit. Every time the government spends, federal government spends money, it's new money. Every time it receives $1 in tax, it's not like they got some big thing stacking up. Oh man, we got fat stacks from these tax dollars. The IRS deletes that shit, purges it right out of the system, because money is temporary. It's not a forever thing. What are you going to do? Just print more money? Just print. We don't do that. How many times do we have to say that before people wake up and get it? There's just enough paper money out there, just enough coins out there to accommodate banking needs and ATM needs. Almost all money is digital. Almost all money is keystrokes. Oh, what's it backed by? It's backed by taxation. Not oil, not chicken necks, not frog legs, not gold. No petrodollar. Taxation. Tax-driven economy, just like in Japan, just like in Russia and China and friggin' UK, just like Australia. Not like the EU, because Germany and those guys over there, Greece, Italy, they're on the euro, and they don't have control over their currency. Oh, but what about the Federal Reserve? Oh, Jesus, for fuck's sake. Government checks don't bounce. Our government, our Congress created the Federal Reserve in 1913. But I read about the Rothschilds. Shut up. It's time to get smart. Because this agenda you claim to want, it ain't happening. It's not happening at all, and it never will happen if you don't learn how to overcome the objections that are going to come up every time and have come up every time since the big S word was ever raised. I'm Steve Grumbine with Real Progressives, hoping you never, ever, ever fail the test of answering how you're going to pay for it, because you've been told. Have a good day.